everyone, welcome to Barn Chats Live. I'm here with Dr. Kasten.
Hi, Tabitha.
I'm Tabitha Cromer. I am marketing manager at Betty Keenall, and Dr. Kasten is our technical services veterinarian. So today we're going to talk about different issues, maybe concerns that we have with horses.
Okay.
And we'll go over maybe some products that can help, and so we can get started. And Dr. Kasten, do you want to give us some background on you?
Absolutely.
And horses?
Happy to. So I grew up in the Cincinnati, Ohio area. I grew up in the hunter jumper world. I was a avid hunter rider actually in the junior hunters until I went to college, and then got away from it for a while and got back into horses in vet school. I did my DVM at the Ohio State University, and then pursued my internship at Peterson & Smith here in Ocala, Florida. And then did some anesthesia work at NC State. Now I've joined Betty Keenall to help with the Equestro products.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
Hey, Jennifer. Thanks for watching. Yeah, love you, girl. Okay, one of the questions that we've had from our fans is, now that it's springtime, what should horse owners be doing like right now to get their horses ready?
Absolutely. That's a great question. First and foremost, I think the most important thing is to get with your veterinarian and get them vaccinated. Spring vaccines are very important for overall horse health. There's some pretty serious, especially mosquito-borne diseases that vaccines can really prevent. And so getting with your veterinarian to receive those AAEP recommended vaccines is going to be one of the most important things for the spring. Another thing we think a lot about in the springtime is oral health and dental health. So you'll want to make sure you get their teeth floated or at least checked by a veterinarian. And then we're always certainly cognizant of their feet and making sure that their feet are taken care of, picking their feet regularly, visiting with the farrier, those types of things. And then as they're starting to go back and work, if you live in a part of the country where you really aren't working them as much in the winter, kind of taking the winter off, thinking about getting them back into work, starting slowly and building their fitness level back up before jumping right in.
Okay, awesome.
And certainly your veterinarian or your trainer can give you guidelines. When in doubt, start slowly and build gradually.
Great. And let's talk about like spring grass.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big concern, especially for our older horses. So what happens with spring grass is it's very concentrated in carbohydrates. And carbohydrates can cause, if they get too much, can cause horses to get laminitis, or what's often referred to as founder. And that can be a really life-threatening disease for a lot of horses. It affects the vasculature in their hoof. And so the old adage is no horse, no hoof. So if their feet are damaged or they're prone to laminitis, it can actually be quite a devastating disease. So we always want to be mindful of the spring grass, make sure they're not out on it too much, not grazing too much. Your veterinarian can also give great recommendations for managing those horses that are susceptible to Cushing's.
Awesome.
And which predisposes them to that carbohydrate sensitivity we talked about.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And a little bit about training and conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that they maybe should start off with first with training?
Yeah, it's always a good idea to start slowly and build up. So if your horse has been in regular work throughout the winter, that's fine to continue and just kind of add gradually. But if you have that nice winter layoff, you're in the part of the country where you get a lot of snow and ice and you can't really keep up the fitness over the winter, starting slowly, 10-15 minutes, starting with hand walking and then working through trotting slowly, gradually building their level of fitness is going to be really important. Certainly Equestro has a new product, our MyoPower product, that can really help build those muscles for horses that are in exercising.
So MyoPower is
and in
great
training
because it's granular.
Yep.
So it's really easy, the
Very
size, very easy to give the horses.
Easy to feed. For most horses, it's our initial administration is 75 grams, so it comes with a 25-gram scoop, so it's just 3 scoops for the first 2 weeks, and then after that, for another 2 weeks, it's 2 scoops. Very easy to administer, very palatable. Horses really like it.
Awesome. So give us some examples of why someone would need to use the MyoPower product.
Great. So MyoPower is going to be great for those horses that are really have a high muscular demand. So any of the English performance horses, the dressage horses, the 3-day event horses, the jumpers, even the hunters, all of those horses they're working very hard. All of those activities require a lot out of their muscles, and so using that MyoPower either 2 to 4 hours before exercise or within 45 minutes after is really going to help. Those same race horses, be it thoroughbred race horses, quarter horses, standardbred race horses, all could benefit from that muscle support. Same with the Western performance horses, the barrel horses, the cutters, the ropers, any of those guys.
Okay, awesome. How about, I think you had mentioned earlier before we got on Facebook about yearlings.
Yeah, absolutely. So people have a lot of interest in making their yearlings look as great as possible before the sales. As part of that, they're doing all kinds of fitness activities, be it on the hot walker, hand walking them, swimming them, all kinds of, anytime they're exercising as part of their conditioning for the sales, using that MyoPower, again, 2 to 4 hours before, about 45 minutes after exercise is going to get the maximum benefit, because the MyoPower contains amino acids that help rebuild muscle protein when used in association with exercise.
Yep, awesome. So it's a phenomenal product.
Awesome product.
Yeah.
Very palatable, very easy to feed, pretty affordable.
And it's also used worldwide. So we have the Olympic athletes, they use it. It's very common in Canada, Germany, France. Over in Europe, they absolutely love this product. So it's highly recommended. Again, it's MyoPower equestrial product.
It's available through your veterinarian.
Absolutely. Yeah, great point.
And ask your veterinarian about it, for sure.
Yes. And then let's talk about some basic husbandry for horse owners.
Absolutely. Spring is we should always be keeping these things in mind, but spring is an important time to be looking after their feet. You should pick their feet twice a day, even if you're riding them or not, to make sure you can really avoid a lot of problems. Again, that whole concept of no horse, no hoof.
Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So a question on picks. Does it matter what kind of pick?
I don't think so. Okay. I've used the ones with the brushes. Yep. I've used the simple ones.
Yep.
As long as you're getting the debris and the stones out of their feet, I think either one's fine.
Okay, good. So I know that's been asked quite a bit.
Okay, yeah. It's a great question, because there's all manner of, the one that you're going to use that's going to do the job is the best one.
So you had mentioned like twice a day. So is it more twice a day if they're the active horse, if they're competing, if they're trail riding?
I think really for any horse, especially those pasture horses that, maybe you're not putting your hands on them as much as one that you're training for whatever task you like to do. Their feet still matter, and in order to have a healthy, happy horse, you've got to take care of their feet. And so by cleaning them out, it helps you check to see if there's any abnormalities. Maybe they're due a trim from the farrier. Maybe they're a little sore. If they're reactive and don't want you picking their feet, that can be an early sign of a problem. So
in that case, definitely call your veterinarian.
Yep, call your veterinarian. Work with your farrier for good guidelines. Also, as you're picking up their feet, palpate their leg. A lot of times you can feel palpate for signs of heat, swelling, pulses, those kinds of things can, just as part of your normal daily care of your horse, can really, if you notice any changes, that can be a great warning, a sign that you need to get in contact with your veterinarian.
So then it's better to do it now versus waiting later, and your bills might be higher.
Exactly. A lot of problems, I think 80% of lamenesses start in the foot, and so that's a really great place. If you're keeping your eye on it, can help get ahead of it.
Especially if you compete. I mean, obviously the feet are very important for a horse, but you want to make sure that they're functioning properly and that you have the best performance for your horse.
Exactly. Keep them comfortable. Absolutely. So in terms of husbandry, I always start with their feet. Keeping tabs on their skin and coat is very important as well. Grooming them regularly, keeping the mud off and those types of things. They can get some skin issues if the mud gets caked on, so certainly like to keep their legs clean. It can alert you if they're having a problem with insect bites. Those types of hypersensitivity, much like you and I get allergies, or our pets get allergies, horses can get allergies too. So if you're grooming them regularly, you can be aware of those types of things. There's plenty of products on the market to help with fly control, those sorts of things, ticks. Those issues, depending on what region of the country you live in, can be a big issue.
You know, that's a good point. So now that springtime is here, more ticks are going to come about.
Exactly. And we don't have the preventatives, unfortunately, like we do for dogs and cats. We're all used to giving those flea and tick preventatives to our dogs and cats. There isn't a great tick preventative, but I know in New England, tick-borne diseases are a big problem, as is in the West Coast. So certainly something your veterinarian can consult with you on.
So really, kind of back to the springtime, they should look for ticks on a daily basis, right?
Yeah, as a part of their grooming routine.
Like,
yep.
What do you recommend, like starting at the head?
Do it the same, however you do it the same way every time. That way you don't miss anything. If you start grooming with their face, do it that same way every time. Check under the mane, places that they like to hide, under the mane, base of their tail, those sorts of things. But if you do a good job grooming the horse, you should be able to catch any problems.
Awesome. And then what do you recommend actually getting the ticks off?
There are some,
use gloves,
use gloves and tweezers. There's some great videos online. The ones that apply for dogs also apply for horses. In terms of tick removal, that would be the best place.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember at one point, Dr. Lowe, another veterinarian that we have on staff, we were talking about ticks, and he said, always put on gloves. And I was like, well, why? Because I've never used gloves when I've taken ticks off. And he said, well, because you could get Lyme disease from the tick. And I never knew that. I always thought, I guess I didn't really think about it, but he said, yep, absolutely, always use gloves.
Yep, so, great advice.
Okay, let's see. Another question. Let's talk about joints. Like
absolutely.
At springtime.
Yeah.
So,
increased work. Maybe you're going to notice your horse having some issues that you didn't necessarily in the past.
So what are some signs that we should look for? Because it's springtime, your horse is excited to get out there, start competing again. So what's something that we should look for?
So
if something's wrong. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly any overt signs of lameness or limping, you can tell their gait doesn't feel quite right. But some of the signs of lameness can be quite a bit more subtle. They don't want to move when when you give some leg, something like that. They don't quite want to turn. If they don't want to turn to a certain way, if you pull on the right rein, they react. Pull on the left rein, they react differently. Those can be subtle signs of lameness. Their stride isn't as long as they used to be. They can't quite do the task that you're asking them to. A lot of those signs of lameness can be very, very subtle, but there is a lot we can do to address orthopedic disease in horses. Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
So one of the solutions that we have here at Vet Keenall and through Barn Chats is called Flexidin UC2. Do you want to explain a little bit about what Flexidin UC2 is?
Absolutely. This product is different than the other joint supplements on the market because it actually works with the horse's immune system to down-regulate those inflammatory mediators that are causing the joint damage in the first place. And so that helps slow the process so the damage stops. It's not going to rebuild the cartilage that's there. The intent is to stop the damage from happening so that the horses can be more comfortable.
But that's really important because if you're starting a horse right now competing, you want to make sure that they're given a supplement that works. Because you want the highest performance for your horse, but
for as long as possible.
Yes, so you don't want your horse in pain. Because at that point,
it's too late, and the process has already happened. I'm a big sports fan, and so I was like, it's better to play offense than defense. And that with our Flexidin UC2, we're getting ahead of the game that way by trying to downregulate that immune response to the joint inflammation and get ahead of it that way, so that we can stop the damage before it progresses.
Absolutely. Yeah, and this is another product that you can get through your veterinarian.
Exactly.
Yep. And then your veterinarian, for some reason, if you want these products and they don't have it, just call us and let us know at barnchats.com or through Vet Keenall, and we'll be glad to get a hold of the veterinarian.
Absolutely.
Because remember, veterinarians are a great resource. They're here to help us. They love animals. And
they're the experts. Honestly, your veterinarian knows your horse and you and what's going to work the best for both of you far better than I do at a distance. Yes. So their recommendations can be tailored towards what you need.
Absolutely. Well, great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add for today?
just another topic that comes to mind is spring behavioral changes. A lot of times, spring's coming, people are moving their horses all over the country. Trailering can be a very stressful situation for them, as well as certainly people getting outside, more loud noises, thunderstorms associated with springtime, fireworks sometimes. Something to keep in
new environment.
New environments, exactly. People are shipping to horse shows. People are buying horses and moving them from one place to another, different barns, those sorts of things. It's trailering, exactly. We're in the middle of breeding season right now, but someday those kids are going to be weanlings themselves, and we all, much like humans in pre-kindergarten, weaning can be a very, very stressful time, and it's great here at Vet Equinal. We have a great product for that called Zilkene, which really helps horses cope with those stressful situations.
Absolutely, and we would see it more as a natural type of supplement.
Exactly, it's not a drug. It goes on their feed. It's very easy for them to consume. Horses really like it. It's a packet a day, sometimes 2, depending on your horse, your recommendations from your veterinarian. It just helps them cope.
Absolutely.
With those stressful situations. So
it's why not? Yeah, why not give them something to help calm them down, but to focus. That's
exactly, focus, so that they can then realize the boogeyman is not hiding in the trailer.
Yes.
Or when there's fireworks in the field next door, it's not going to, their barn isn't exploding.
Absolutely.
They can learn that it's going to be okay.
In fact, we've gotten some great testimonials from barrel racers, and I would say even, all disciplines actually, even reining, cow roping, but it's really where the horse, when they've entered into the arena in the past, they were like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And they really couldn't focus. But
they forget,
yeah, the results and testimonials we're getting back is just phenomenal, that they're like, oh my gosh, my horse is different, but in a positive way. They're focusing on what we need to get done, they get it done, and we win. That's the thing.
That's awesome. The success is so tremendous.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. And so that product is a milk-based protein. It's what helps newborns relax once they nurse from their mother's milk, and we're just able to take advantage of that technology and bring it to horses.
Yes. Phenomenal product. You got to try it.
Yep. We also have a small animal version available for pets too, but that would be available through your small animal veterinarian.
That's right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your support. We really appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Again, Barn Chats. You can also call us at vetequinal.com, and we hope you have a wonderful week.
Have a great week, everybody. Bye.